5 people confirmed dead, 3 injured here at the Forum Roller World in Grand Prairie. We're going to stay on the scene, continue to follow any new developments. So now I can do something that all Cowboys players can't. Walk through these doors. Take a look at this car. Looks like it's been in a bad rollover accident, but what is most impressive about this right here is where it came from. From inside that garage. It was sucked out by the tornado, brought all the way across the street, landing right here. Take my Facebook page, for example. Down here in the education section, it says I went to the University of Texas at Austin. And up here in this advertisement, it says I could save hundreds of dollars with Liberty Mutual just because I'm a UT alum. Amanda, you can see that the lawn here is lush and green, and that's courtesy of all the rainfall, not from watering, because here in Richardson, the residents are only allowed to water twice a month.
An emotional day at DFW Airport. After 8 years, the final flight carrying soldiers home for their first 2 weeks of rest and recuperation arrived this morning. The soldiers were greeted by hundreds of Americans who just wanted to say thank you and welcome home. CW33's Daniel Novick shows us the bittersweet arrival.
USA! USA!
When you see these stories, they are always about the soldiers. And rightly so.
We can't let this momentum go.
And while this story is about those who serve our country, it's also about those who serve our troops.
Welcome back, Sarge. What terminal?
Volunteers and average citizens who shake hands and give hugs and snap photos. And perhaps no one has taken more photos than Joe Schneider.
I noticed that when the soldier would come in, his wife, fiance, whatever, they all had their cameras with them, but nobody had time to take a picture.
So since 2007, Schneider has come nearly every day, making memories one photo at a time.
I try to get them all, post them for all the families that can't be here.
Then there is Thomas Downey with roses in hand, waiting for each female soldier returning home.
It does have a special message. Probably I haven't seen a flower in a long time.
He comes most days bringing a smile to a soldier's face.
Kind of a little special thank you, you know, for the service and for the ordeal that they're going through as troops.
No one knows what these soldiers have gone through as well as Vietnam veteran Rob Millot.
We didn't get this when I came home back in the Nam days. World War II vet.
So every day for the last 4 years, he's made sure the welcome has been warm, that history wasn't repeated.
You see these guys come through, you see the families up there, the looks on their face, it's worth it.
Coming here has become a part of their daily lives. And now this has come to an end.
Gonna be lonely without all this.
Tell me about it.
But not before touching lives and making a difference, one photo at a time, one rose at a time, one handshake at a time.
We're all really gonna miss it.
Daniel Novick, CW 33 News.
City leaders have declared disaster areas in communities across the Metroplex, including Forney, Lancaster, Arlington, and Kennedale. CW33's Daniel Novick has been in Forney for the last 2 days and is live tonight with one family's incredible story. Daniel.
Walt, I spoke with officials from the city of Forney. They tell me 95 homes were damaged in this community, 22 homes destroyed. They say there were 7 injuries, but none of them serious, and no one died. And it's that last fact. The fact that no one died is what is most amazing, because you look at homes like this, you see that there is really nothing left. And then you find out that there was 1 woman and 3 children in this home very close to where I'm standing right now when the tornado hit. Today was about cleaning up and looking for what could be saved. One day after this tornado came roaring through the Diamond Creek subdivision in North Forney.
It's right over there, look at that.
Sherry Enox was home with her grandson and 2 other children, all under the age of 3.
I was in the bathtub and I told my daughter I was on the phone. I screamed out, Megan, it's here. You know, I'm in the tornado.
Enox says she heard the roar of the tornado, didn't realize her house was collapsing on top of her.
It almost took my grandson from me. I had him up here and it was pushing, you know, pulling me away from me. But I held on to him.
2 of the children were found wandering amongst the debris. As far as Sherry and her grandson were concerned, well, they were pulled from the rubble by a neighbor. Everyone involved, amazingly, only with bumps and bruises.
The bathtub had moved into garage, and I didn't even know it. So I don't know if I was actually in the bathtub when he got me or not. I was just in a little hole.
I was here at that time. And
Sherry's husband Mike was working in Dallas when he got a call from his oldest daughter.
said that, Dad, I got bad news, and my first instinct was that, you know, their mother and my wife was gone.
But she was just calling about the home. Everyone was safe. Mike says the home and cars can be replaced. He's trying to salvage the small things with sentimental value, like his son's baseballs.
He's a pitcher, and he'd had a couple of no-hitters, and it just meant, you know, everything to me to find them, and I did. So we got them.
And what is most important to Mike, their 5 children and 6 grandchildren, is not what, but who was saved from all of this devastation.
I didn't think that I would make it out, and I'm really surprised that I made it out. It's a miracle.
And miracle, that's the word that's being used from fire chief, police officers, city officials. Basically anybody I talk to, they say again, it's a miracle that no one died as a result of this tornado. And what is just as impressive as the fact that no one was seriously injured or died is what's happening now. The community is rallying together to clean up and then hopefully one day soon rebuild. Reporting live tonight in Forney, Daniel Novick, CW 33 News.
Tonight, nearly 1 in 5 Dallas County residents will go to bed without a nutritional meal, and many say that is a sign of the times. The 33's Daniel Novick shares the story of one man who went from life in the high-tech world to working minimum wage and eating at a homeless shelter. Daniel.
Turns out the story of Mike Watley is one that is becoming all too common in our area. The numbers are staggering. 18.9% of Dallas County residents are food insecure. People who cannot get a nutritious meal on a regular basis. That's more than 450,000 men, women, and children in our area, according to the charity Feeding America. And one of those people is the man driving this van. Michael Watley, just 18 months ago, was a systems engineer making $45 an hour. Today, he lives at the Austin Street Center, a shelter near downtown Dallas.
I got laid off and ran into an unfortunate situation where I got robbed, and all of the excess cash that I had was stolen.
He drives this van for the shelter and makes minimum wage. But before he got here, he had to choose between a good, nutritious meal or paying for gas or a hotel.
It's a beautiful chapel.
The first person Mike met at the Austin Street Center was its director, Reverend Bubba Daly.
And I said, Mike, what are you doing here? Because you certainly don't look homeless. Give me the story.
He gave his story, and Reverend Bubba gave her standard response.
I said, fella, come on in.
Reverend Bubba has been reaching out to the less fortunate for 38 years. She says these days she sees more and more people like Mike.
It's people who have lost their jobs, lost their cars, lost their homes.
Reverend Bubba says sometimes all they need is some nutritious food, something they've had their entire lives until now.
Some of them have never been able to ask for help, and they're proud. They're proud people, and it hurts.
For Michael, he'll keep driving his van, keep looking for another job, and with the help of this shelter, he'll keep eating a good meal.
Being a religious person, you learn that things are, it is what it is, and you just deal with it and move forward.
Reverend Bubba says last month she saw 120 faces walk through her doors that she had never seen before. It's people who needed her help for the first time. Reporting live from the studio, Daniel Novick, 33 News.
He was just 6 years old when his mother died in a fire. Miraculously, Mick Moffitt was saved by 2 firefighters as the flames consumed his home.
Now the North Texan is turning tragedy into triumph. CW33's Daniel Novick brings us the emotional and touching story of Mick Moffitt.
I had the great family, you know, my sister and I had mom and dad. I was 6 years old. Our house caught on fire that night. It was actually Halloween night, October 31st of '76.
Mick Moffitt says his father pulled him from his bed and put him out on a balcony on the 2nd floor of his home, where 2 firefighters brought him to safety.
And I can remember his helmet. I can remember the water dripping off onto his shoulders. I can remember the look in his eye, and it was the most compassionate look I've ever seen in a person still today.
He needed that compassion. Just hours earlier, Moffitt's mother told him goodnight.
It was one of those good night things where mom comes up and says goodnight, I love you, gives you a kiss, and brings you up the stairs to go to bed.
Little did he know it was also goodbye. Linda Moffitt died in that blaze, but today he remembers most not the pain of losing a mother, but the look in the eyes of the firefighters who saved him.
And I think what he was saying to me through his eyes was, your life is about to change forever, and I understand that.
Moffitt grew up and became a volunteer firefighter in Burleson, then a full-time firefighter in Midlothian. He was riding in a ladder truck for the first fire he fought.
So we're headed down through Main Street, and I'm bawling. I'm crying my eyes out. And I thought, what is this emotion? Well, I realized this is it.
But that wasn't it. Moffitt, with two of his firefighter buddies, created Training Division, a full-service training facility for firefighters from all over the world.
We have guys and girls now coming from every province in Canada, from Kenya, Japan, Ireland, Guam, Belize, other parts of South America.
They study online, then spend 2 full weeks here training.
You not only are teaching what the guys need to know about how to stay safe and how to put out a fire, but they also need to know how to be men of character, women of character, how they need to serve in a way that would affect a 6-year-old boy and help steer the course of his life, because that's what happened to me.
Mick gets emails and letters, which he keeps in this binder, of stories where firefighters he taught have saved lives. As he reads, the emotions of losing a mother to fire, the emotions of being saved by firefighters, comes flooding back. He knows he has done something so right after something in his life went so horribly wrong.
The same way I reacted in the back of the ladder truck. Yeah, I bawl my eyes out all the time. I'm a baby about that, but when you love something this much, it's worth it.
And last year, the 2 firefighters who saved Moffitt came to Texas to surprise him at the graduation for the 100th Training Division class. One of those firefighters is retired. The other person is now the fire chief in the small town Moffitt grew up in. Reporting live from the studio, Daniel Novick, CW 33 News.
We had triple-digit temperatures again today, making it 28 straight days with temperatures over 100. The 33's Daniel Novick joins us live in the studio with how employees at the Dallas Zoo are keeping cool along with the animals.
Yeah, and I found out today, Walt, that it is very challenging. It's a task that involves a lot of shade, a lot of water, and a lot of frozen treats. If these city birds only knew how good they could have it.
Jenny, Gypsy!
African elephants Gypsy and Jenny are beating the heat during this blistering Texas summer with the help of the Dallas Zoo animal keepers.
We try to get them in the water, good girls, a couple times a day just to try to cool them off.
If they can't lure them into the water,
Gonna cool off.
a spray down with the hose comes next.
We hose them off, try to keep their body temperature low and things like that.
And by far the favorite is the ice treat.
They love ice treats, so anything like the frozen watermelon, freeze buckets of fruit. There you go, Jen. And throw that to them, and they really, really like that.
In fact, ice treats or frozen fruits are a favorite amongst the warthogs,
Okay, lions.
the lions, and the giraffes too.
Just like we like popsicles, we can make different types of popsicles for the animals using different parts of their diets and fruit juices and things like that.
And as critical as keeping the animals cool and hydrated,
Need a drink.
is doing the same for the animal keepers.
We all keep an eye on each other, make sure we're not overheating. We have water coolers located all over the place. We're able to go to any of the different restaurants and get Gatorade.
The Dallas Zoo spends millions of dollars a year to keep these animals at their best. And that includes finding ways for them to survive the Texas summer and hopefully live on so future generations can enjoy these wonders of the world.
These animals are part of our family. We want to make sure that they stay cool and comfortable. And a lot of the animals that you see around the zoo are part of conservation programs, so we want to provide ideal programs for breeding and things of that nature.
Welcome to the Dallas Zoo.
And zoo officials tell me they pick what animals will be a part of the zoo based upon how they handle the heat. So you won't see any cold weather animals outside. Even the penguin population that you just saw in that story are warm weather African penguins. Reporting live from the studio, Daniel Novick, the 33 News.